Welcome to episode 23 of Pera's Playbook. Today we're joined by Mensi Stiff. She is a thrower at Ole Miss. And if you don't know her name yet, you will know it eventually. I can say that with some confidence, as she has done a lot in her high school career, and she just started her college career. Glad to have her on the episode. How you doing so far today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a busy day, but I'm good.
Class is just starting up again?
Yes, yeah, we've been in class for a couple weeks, so
Okay. You enjoying it?
yeah, no, it's good. I like it. It's definitely different than high school, but I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I just graduated from college in May, so it feels so good not to go back to school this August. I'm so used to having an internship and then going back, but this time I'm like, oh, I don't have to leave my job. I can just keep working.
Yeah, onto the
um
real world.
yeah. Yeah, grown up. We might as well start by talking about your high school career. You had a very good high school career. You were the Gatorade Tennessee Girls Track and Field Player of the Year three times in a row. And I guess we'll start there. After you won the first one, like, did you have it as a goal that you wanted to win it again and then again, or were you just happy to have one and whatever happens happens? Where was your mind at after you got the first one?
Yeah, I mean, I was so grateful to get that first one and did not expect that one at all. And I think as far as like Gatorade awards and just like awards and accolades in general, I never set out for that stuff. I never set like goals of that stuff. And now I remember when I first got that, my coach and my dad were like, that's great and that's everything. And it's like that doesn't make you a great athlete or make you a great person. And it's like you can't chase after that. And so from then I was just like, I'm not gonna try to chase after that and try to win accolades, and like they'll come and they'll go. And I'm grateful for anything that I'm given, and all that stuff. And I mean, it's such an honor to get that award. But no, I don't think I've ever like been like, okay, this year I want to get that. But obviously, I mean, like I'm a teenage girl. I want to be like, oh, like I hope I get it this year.
Right. It's hard not to think about it
Yeah.
a little bit. Like, it's always going to be in your, especially once you get one, that
Yeah.
early in your career, it's always going to be in the back of your mind, no matter how hard you try. It's just human nature. Like you said, and you're a teenager too. Like, I mean, like it's hard not to think about it. But you
Yeah.
ended up winning three in a row, so after this last one, looking back, it's got to be just excitement and just all kinds of different emotions, happiness. Obviously, like you said, you weren't setting out to win them, but you still won them, and it's a reflection of your high school career.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. It's definitely amazing to see like to be able to see like all 3 years and not like I got it the first year and then I dropped off. Like I really like stayed consistent with my high school career. And I think those awards are like really good reflections on that. And like the hard work and everything. But no, I mean it's so crazy to look back. And then I always think I was like, shoot, if COVID didn't happen and I had freshman year, could I have gotten 4 out of 4, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you can always think about what ifs.
Yes, true.
I suppose it'd be really hard for somebody, could be mentally, if they got the first one and then, like you
Mhm.
said, they kind of fell off. Maybe they didn't win the next. As you think as an athlete, you should get better as you get older. But obviously, it didn't happen for you, so it doesn't matter. But I could understand how it would be mentally hard in a confidence sense if you won one and then you didn't get the next one.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I'm grateful that didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah, didn't happen for you, so no worries there. You also had six Division II state titles, three each in shot and disc. And you mentioned the COVID, so that year just doesn't count. So every time you got there, you won it, and you are the state record holder in both of the events. So I guess maybe we'll start by talking about those for a little bit. Once you got the record, did you want to break your own record then? Is that something you were striving towards? Like, it's my record, but I want to break it, make it higher.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. I mean, I think the first time I broke it, I mean, the first time I broke it, I think will always be the most incredible time I've ever broken a record, just because it was so unexpected. Like, I feel like now it's like more expected of me if I break records. Like, it's, oh, like that makes sense. But like at the time, like I was still playing basketball. I was like, track wasn't my main focus. Like, no one had expected me to jump, the feat that I did. And it was like, I just remember, I always will remember that day because it was the most incredible like experience with my family and my coach and everything. And then I think after that, like after you get that feeling of breaking a record and winning a state at such a young age, I was like, I just wanted more. I was like, I want to break more records. I want to do better. Like, I just got like a really big appetite for that type of stuff.
Yeah, you get hungry for success once you get a little taste of it.
Yes, 100%.
So you mentioned how initially, track wasn't your main focus. You were playing other sports. At what point did track become your full focus? Was it after the first record, or, did it take a little bit longer before you really just devoted everything to track?
Yeah, no, it was actually, I guess I did. I did stop playing basketball before the record. Um, but I think it was kind of at the record moment that I was like, shoot, like I could be really good at this. Like, that I kind of realized like I'm not just mediocre at this because I think, a lot of times growing up, like I was like, oh, you're really athletic, but like, I couldn't ever stay focused on a sport long enough to like get super good at it. And basketball I just didn't click with basketball. And with track, I was just like, shoot, like I clicked with this, like I could be really good with this. And I was just like, the more, I don't think there was a set point where I was like, okay, I'm going to give this sport 110% effort. I'm going to do this, this, and this. I think it was definitely more of like a build up to that. I think just every day I kind of fell more in love with the sport and fell more in love with like training. And I think every year I've come back to training with more than I did the first year. And so I think it's been more of a gradual thing for sure.
And you have to love it. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are at something. If you don't love it, if you don't have that passion, you're not going to want to do better. Like, there are athletes out there who are really good at sports, but they don't want to. Like, they're good at it naturally, and if they worked at it, they get better, but they don't. So if you don't have the passion and that love, it doesn't really matter how good you are. Um, you were also the first in shot put, the first girl in Tennessee to throw over 50 feet. Was that, ever a thought, since nobody had ever done that? Did you even think like, oh, hey, that's something I could go and do? Or you just, you know, never really crossed your mind because nobody else had ever done it?
Yeah, it's so crazy when people like say these statistics to me because I never even think about that stuff. And my coach is always going to like tell me things. He's like, by the way, like you're the first person to throw over 50. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't even know that. Like, I think I'm an athlete that's very focused on like beating myself. And like, when I get focused on a certain goal, I'll be focused on that, but I don't get distracted by the like, oh, like no one else has thrown 50 or this or that, or like the little things that can come along. And not that that's not little, I mean, that's an incredible thing. But I think I was just really focused on like beating myself. And like once I threw like 52, I was like, I want to get to 55 and just kind of always focusing on that and not necessarily the like, I would be the first person in Tennessee. Cause honestly, I had no idea of that. Like, I like was like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, self-improvement, kind of
Yes.
going for that. Did you feel pressure at any time throughout your high school career once you had started getting different accolades? Did you feel pressure from just, kind of in a sense of like, hey, I have to perform now because I've done some good things?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think after that sophomore year was when I broke the record, and that summer I think was just like insane for me. Because I broke that record. It was like the last day of school, and then just like a month later, recruiting opened up and I was allowed to start doing that. And it was just like so many phone calls, and then it was awards, and it was just all these things happening and going into my junior year. And then going into that, I was like, okay, I need to break this record again. I need to do this, this, and this. And I was like, I need to find a college. I need to do all these things. And I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself because of that. And the pressure was definitely there a lot more my junior year. And it was honestly such a good learning thing for me because I was like, I had to go through that. I had to deal with that mentally my junior year season. I struggled a lot. And but that was like the greatest thing I think to happen to me because I was able to learn from it and be like, okay, I can't let that pressure be on me. And if you're not having fun or you're not loving what you're doing, then like it's gonna like break you. And I think that's what happened to me my junior year. And so going into my senior season, I just like completely took the pressure away and I just had fun and I loved it. And I was just grinding for me, and not because of like anything else.
Yeah, it's good that you were able to figure some of that out in high school, because obviously the pressure just can get worse,
Yeah.
the bigger the stage you get on. And if you don't know how to cope with it, it can just make it that much more difficult. So it's good that you were able to figure out some ways to cope with it, and how to help yourself mentally, because obviously if you're not mentally healthy, you're not, it doesn't matter how physically healthy you are, you're not going to be successful. The mental component to athletics and just life in general is obviously the most important in keeping our minds healthy, and not letting stress and pressure and anxiety get to us is so important. um but you mentioned recruiting opening up. So how was recruiting for you? Some people have it easy, some people have horrible times with recruiting, all over the board.
Yeah, no. It was a lot. I think it was just, you go from like zero. I went from 0 to 100 really, really fast. And I mean, before my state, I don't remember the exact timeline, but I remember I was sending out emails to coaches, hoping that they would just look at me. And then all of a sudden, when I threw almost 50 feet as a sophomore, it was like every coach was looking at me. And I was like, oh, shoot, like, I don't know what to do with this. And I mean, it was just like phone calls every day, like looking at all these schools. And then, like, every night I would sit in my room and I was like researching all these coaches and these schools and everything. And it was a lot. And I think I was super blessed to be able to commit early and be able to find my place as early as I did. Because I don't think the recruiting process was something I was gonna like enjoy in the long run.
Yeah, it's a lot, based on what I've heard. Obviously I haven't gone through it, but you're a high schooler, you're trying to enjoy your high school years, you got all this stuff, and then you got recruiting. I mean, it's a lot to handle, and high school is stressful, and everything else is stressful. So it's definitely, plus there's such big decisions. It's like a life decision. You can transfer, but that's obviously a pain. Nobody wants to have to transfer. So it's such a
No,
huge
yeah,
decision to
yeah. My
make.
sister, my sister had transferred because she plays soccer in college and she had transferred that year. And I was like, I don't want to end up like that. Like, please, I
Yeah.
just want to choose my school. But
So why'd you end up choosing Ole Miss in the end?
yeah. Yeah, no, good question. I mean, I think Ole Miss as a school is just like incredible, and I'm a big believer that like wherever I was gonna go, I needed like the school outside of athletics, no matter what. And I do. I mean, I love Ole Miss. I mean, I think if you ask anyone who's gone here, they will not have like a bad thing to say about it. Like it's an incredible campus, incredible community, like it's amazing. And then the coaches here. I fell in love with the coaches. Um, Coach Smith and Coach Connie Smith are just like the most incredible people. And I mean, Coach Smith's resume speaks for itself. And the like atmosphere here and the training. I came here and I was like, this just feels so right for me. And then I'm really a big religious person. And I prayed about it. And I think as long as I feel right with God about things, then I like feel confident in that decision. And I did. And so it just kind of everything lined up right. And I think I was super grateful for that because it was the first school that I like went to. But I think I just knew that I needed to be here.
Yeah. Well, that's the most important thing that you brought up there. If you trust in God's plan, it always works out. Even if it doesn't feel like it's going to, it always does. I mean, the way I always think of it is, we can't see the whole puzzle. God can see the whole puzzle for us. We can just see one little piece of it, but he can see how all the pieces are going to fit together. So you got to just trust in the plan. and trust that it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to ask you, are you going to go to any football games at Ole Miss?
Yes, no, 100%. We had one this past weekend. I actually went home, but I am gonna go to the football games. My dad's a big football guy, so I'm sure he'll probably come down and watch some with me. But no, obviously football's like huge here. I mean,
Yeah.
we're great. So I'll definitely be at the football games for a bit, but they're a lot. I mean, holy cow, SECs, they do not joke around with football games.
No, it's a big
So
deal.
yeah, oh my goodness. It is like, I mean, they like when we have games here, they were setting up like Wednesday for the games. And I was
Oh,
like, wow.
really? Wow. Yeah, that's something that they didn't have at little Division II Michigan Tech. There was a few people tailgating before the game on Saturday, but that was about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have like the 10-acre grove, everyone's tailgating. You can
Oh
barely like,
yeah.
walk. I mean, it's crazy, but it's great.
Yeah, I'm a huge Notre Dame football fan. Well, Notre Dame, like everything in sports, and it's a bucket list of mine to go to South Bend and go to a football game and just experience that someday. Like it's a huge bucket list item.
No, yeah, you should. Yeah.
So you were also, on a different note, a recipient of the Tennessee State Senate Proclamation for Athletic, Academic, and Community Service Achievements. So I guess the question is, what can't she do? Athletics, outside of athletics, you're a published author and a poet. You do a lot of volunteer work. So writing, author and a poet. What kind of stuff do you write?
Yes, it's like the poem that got published is so funny because I wrote it I wrote it about Shakespeare, about how much I hate reading Shakespeare. And my teacher read it and she was like, "This is hilarious. This is amazing." And I was like, "Is it?" Because we had to read like King Lear and I like failed every quiz. And I was
Oh.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is so stinking hard." And we had to do some poetry for that class. And so I started writing about this and she thought it was so funny. And so then I kept writing some things and some things end up being good, some things don't. And I didn't think that she was going to think it was funny. I really thought she was going to be like, "How could you say this?" But she thought it was hilarious. And
Yeah.
I go back and read it, and I'm like, "Dang, I was funny as a little sophomore in high school." But no, and that like I love to write. I'm a big journaling person. I journal every morning. Um, but no, yeah, that I think is like the funniest thing when I hear people say that. I'm like, if only I was like, I don't think anyone's actually read my poem. Um, but yeah.
It's still published. People know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
um so that award, was that all just for like academic volunteer? Did you apply for that, or did you get nominated for that? How did that work out?
Yeah. I did not apply for it. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure how I got that, how my name came up in whatever meeting had to go on for that. But I remember I just came home one day and you have your like mail and I'm like was what 18 at the time. No one gives 18-year-olds mail. And so there's like this giant envelope in my kitchen with my name on it. And I opened it and it was like an actual declaration and it was like signed by like the guy and they were like, "When we're back in session, like we'll have you come." And I was like, "Cool." Like I had to like look it up. I was like calling my coach. He was a history major at like Vanderbilt, super smart. And I was like, "So what does this mean exactly?"
Yeah.
Um, because I was like, I don't know what that is. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, it was like such a huge honor and it was incredible. And to be able to go there that day, I mean, it was so cool. I was so excited. Um, and I got to talk to the people in the Senate and I got to talk to like everyone for a bit and it was incredible and to see my state's capital and you go there as like a little kid in kindergarten and to go back for that was really special.
Yeah, no, that is really cool honor to have. Another big thing that you did recently would be the Pan American U20s. You were shot put champion for USA. Then you went to the Pan Ams and you got a gold medal there. So I mean, exciting stuff. It had to have just been an amazing experience to be a part of the team and to where was it held?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and to travel to Puerto Rico. That's what I thought. I just didn't want to say it and be wrong.
No, yeah,
I was looking it up last night and I just couldn't remember where it was. But yeah, it had been just overall an amazing experience to be part of the Team USA and get to travel down there and compete and then come home with a gold medal.
oh my gosh. I mean, 100%. It was like, I was telling my parents, I was like, this was the greatest trip of my life. Like, it made so many things that I had to, not had to, that I got to, not participate in for senior year, like worth it. And I remember my mom was crushed because I didn't go on our family trip that we usually go on like every year. I stayed home to train and I texted her, I was like, Mom, see, it all works out. Like, I was meant to be here. I was meant to do that so I could train and be ready for this. But that trip was just like incredible for so many different reasons. Obviously I had a big PR. It moved me up to like number 4 all time, which was great. And I just got to meet like the most incredible people. And I think especially for track and field and then especially for throwing, like it's such a niche thing. Like you're not gonna like walk down the street and meet another thrower or someone who appreciates the sport. And so then to be able to go there and to be around people who appreciate your sport and appreciate what you do, and then other competitors who are just like at that level with you too, was so incredible. And then the other throwers that was on the team, I mean, that was like those relationships I think I'll have forever. Like we literally still text, all of us, and to be able to see all those people and be with them was incredible. And then like there were so many sides of that trip that was amazing for me. And then the culture at Puerto Rico is very different, and just meeting all the people, and then from the other countries, like the Brazilians, the Argentinians, the Canadians, like it was, oh, that trip was great. I loved it.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome. The life memories you'll never forget. I mean, just incredible experience. I'm sure the weather was nice too down there. I mean, maybe a little
Yes.
hot.
No, honestly, like it was really hot, but it was really good. I actually, the only part like I was like really annoyed with the heat was the opening ceremony because you have to wear the like opening ceremony clothes, and it's like long pants and like a long pullover, and I wore it for like 4 hours and I was like drenched in sweat, and I was like, oh my goodness, someone get me some AC.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. That part right there. The rest of it sounds fun, but just
Yeah.
dripping in sweat for 4 hours in a jumpsuit. So another, amazing thing you got, this is how you know you're the real deal. You end up on a billboard for Nike in New York City. One of the big three in athletic wear. Some you could argue which one's the biggest. Most people would probably say Nike's the biggest in the world. Just I think in the US, Nike's the biggest. If you go to Europe,
Yes.
maybe Adidas is bigger. But definitely one of the biggest brands in athletics. It's been one of the biggest brands. And you were on a billboard, giant billboard in New York City too. I mean, the Big Apple. So how did you end up on the billboard? How did that all work out?
Yeah, so how that worked out was we were there for indoor nationals, and Nike, I was with Nike, and they've sponsored certain nationals, I mean, for a long time, and almost every nationals I've gone to has been with Nike. And so that was my second year back with them for indoors. And they emailed me and they're like, we're working on this campaign with some of our top athletes. Like, would you like to do it? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, and then they were like, it's a but it's like it's a billboard. We need you to come in on this date and we're gonna do a photo shoot with you. And I was like, sign me up, like 100%. I was so excited. I was like, I usually am never the type to tell my friends what's going on with that type of stuff. Like, no one knew about my proclamation or anything. Like, I don't really like tell people that stuff. But I was just like, dude, I'm gonna be on a billboard because it's like that's the most incredible thing. Like that was just like
Oh
so
yeah.
cool. And then to go and do the photo shoot and like see all those people. And I remember the photographer was like, I remember just being like, you were so cool. Like he just had like the coolest clothes on and he was a photographer in New York City. I was like, this is just so cool. And then to go and see it, it was right next to the Macy's on 52nd, I think. But I was just like, holy cow, that's me. And my sister was, let's do a TikTok. Um, but I mean, that was so fun and so surreal, and the photos turned out amazing. Um, and I loved it. So shout out to Nike for that because they made like a girl's dream come true with that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, millions of people are gonna look at that every day when they walk by.
Yeah, no, it was crazy when we were walking to it. The guy was like, "Oh my God, you're the girl from the Billboard." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's me up there. That's me.
that's me." Yeah.
So now that you're in college, do you have to do any NIL stuff because you're on a billboard for Nike, part of their campaign?
No, I think, that was done and I signed and gave them the photos. So they have the photos and I don't really expect anything from it. So I was just like, they can have those. I don't
Yeah,
really I'm good with whatever. Um,
it's
but
just
I actually
cool
hadn't
to
even
be on
thought
it.
about that. I was like, maybe I should ask someone here if that's I should check in on that. Um, but no, I'm so used to like my coach and parents helping me with all that stuff. So maybe I do need to look into that. But so I think I'm fine. I feel like Nike is also really on top of that stuff. So
Yeah, I would think a brand that big would have it all figured out and they wouldn't want to risk having any issues. So I'm sure if you had to, you'd know by now.
yes, I think
Somebody
so.
would tell you.
Hopefully.
So all track aside, when you're not throwing or writing poetry, what are your other hobbies?
Yeah, I mean, I love to read. I'm usually in a book or two, which kind of sounds annoying to say, but I do really like to read.
Oh,
Mostly
reading's
because,
good.
yes, no, mostly because I love movies and TV shows, but I think I've literally watched everything that has ever been made. So I turned to reading. But yeah, I like to do that. I love to hang out with my friends. I'm a very extroverted person, so I love to hang out and do fun things. I feel like I'm pretty low key. I try not to do anything to injure myself for sports, so it's like limits my list of like hobbies for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I played pickleball a couple years ago. That was like my thing, but then my coach was like, "You're gonna get hurt," and I was like, "Okay, no more pickleball for me." um, but yeah, and then when I wasn't in college and I still lived back home, I loved my dog. I would go all the time and take her to the park or get her baths or do whatever with her. And so I feel like my hobbies are pretty chill and low key. I don't really do anything crazy. I just hang out with my friends and family.
Oh, I lost you. I don't know where you went. I lost your audio. Wait, there you are, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, no worries. You're
There's
back.
your glitch.
um, yeah, no, those all sound like good hobbies. You mentioned movies and TV shows. What's your favorite movie or TV show?
Yeah, okay. So my favorite movie, this is my favorite movie of all time, is Hacksaw Ridge. I have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My dad loves it. My mom
Yeah.
doesn't like it. So, like, anytime she's gone, I know what he's watching. He's watching Hacksaw Ridge because he loves that
No,
movie.
I that movie's incredible for like
Yeah.
I every time I come in contact with like someone new, I'm like, have you seen Hacksaw Ridge? Because I'm like, watch it. It's so incredible. Um, no, when it first came out, I was like super young and my dad was watching it one night and I like snuck in the room and watched it. And I definitely shouldn't have. But ever since I watch it like all the time, like at least once a month, I watch the movie.
Wow.
No, that's like sounds absurd, but it's so amazing. And then TV shows, Grey's Anatomy, 100% is
Okay.
my favorite show. I love Grey's Anatomy. I love Criminal Minds. I'm watching Suits right now. That's me and my roommate are watching Suits together. So
Yeah. Yeah. The Hacksaw Ridge one, I wouldn't have guessed that, honestly. Like, I wouldn't guess that for most people. It's just like, I don't know. It's not usually, I feel like people, if I would guess like their favorite movie, I would guess like a comedy and just like assume that that's their
Yeah.
favorite movie is something. But no, that's a great movie. I mean, the story is obviously an amazing story, and the acting is really good. I mean, Andrew Garfield does an amazing job, and I really like Vince Vaughn, his character. I think he does such a, because he's known as just like that funny guy in stupid
Yes,
funny
I remember
movies,
when I first watched it and I was like,
and he's
it's
got this other
interesting.
dimension of his acting, like where he's this serious tough guy, like, sergeant, and it's really, or whatever rank he is. I hope I'm not, whatever rank he is in the movie. It's like a totally different role, but the acting is amazing. The story is amazing. So if anyone hasn't seen it, you got to go out and watch it. You're missing out.
No, no, it is. It's the story, I think, is just, I think the part that I love about is I love true inspiring stories like McFarland USA. I also watched that one a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I don't really like comedies unless it's Adam Sandler. Other than that, I like don't like them. And my coach always makes fun of me because he's like, you don't have a sense of humor. And I was like, I swear I do. Um, but no, yeah, that movie I think is super inspiring. And I think it's just one of those things that you watch and you're just like, whatever I have going on in my life, like this guy, if he could do that with God, I can do whatever I have
Yeah.
to face.
Yeah, it's really, when you watch movies like that, you see stories like that. It's like, well, I have nothing to complain about when my struggles really aren't that bad.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
So let's say you're on a team bus or at a party or something, and you have to sing karaoke, but you get to pick the song. What would your go-to song be?
Yeah, I think I've had the same song since I was like 6, but I swear it's like the only song I know. Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, or so probably that one because I feel like that one's fun. But like one that I actually really know is The Climb, also by Miley Cyrus. I was a huge fan of her when I was younger, if you can't
Okay.
tell.
Yeah.
But I like my friends will all make fun of me because I like don't know lyrics to songs. Like I will 100%. Y'all, have you seen like the watermelon thing where if you just say watermelon over and over again, people will think like it looks like you know the words to a song.
No, I haven't. I'll have
Okay,
to
well
look
that's
that up.
it's like a thing. And so I just like will do that, or I'll just like pretend to start like saying the words and I'll be like, and I like won't know the word. So I probably would like butcher anybody if they ever made me like I would butcher whatever song I had to sing. But if I like had to choose one, probably one of those two. But I don't know
Yeah.
how it would sound.
Well, I mean, hey, Party in the USA, that could get the team going, or the party, or whatever kind of an event you're at. I feel like that's a
Yeah,
good one.
that's a fun
So
classic
yeah,
and
it's a
cool.
upbeat song.
Yeah. That or like I'm really into AC/DC, I will say. I do really like AC.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe my coach, he was like loves to play that. My high school coach. He would love to play like AC/DC or like just like all of those types of bands when we were lifting. Like he loved Led Zeppelin.
Okay. Yeah, AC/DC is totally like good warm up or lifting music. I don't know. I'm
Yes.
big on like rock and metal for lifting. I know some
Mm,
people are really into like rap and hip hop for lifting. I don't know. That doesn't really get me going. If I need to work out or warm up, for me, at a rock and metal or more. So I can get behind
yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah, no, my coach used to make fun of me. Whenever I'd be on aux, I'd put on like worship music or like Christian rap. And he was like, what are we listening to? And I was like, it's what I like to listen to.
Yeah. Hey, everyone's got their own tastes.
Yeah.
So, what do you have a goal, personal goal here, going into your first college season in the do you have like some goals in mind of, numbers you want to hit? You want to break your, obviously PR, but do you have any specific goals in mind for your first year?
Oh, 100%. I am definitely coming in here with big goals. But I want to win an SEC this year. I want to hit 60 feet and I really want to make it to Olympic trials this summer. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my goals.
Yeah. Hey, they're good goals, and based on everything you've done so far, I'm sure you can achieve them. So they're awesome goals, and it's gonna be very exciting to see how it goes. I'm sure you're excited for the season and everything, to get started and to be able to compete at the college level.
Yes, no, 100%. I'm really excited. I think this will be a great year.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on this episode of the podcast. I wish you the best of luck with your first college season, with your goals and all of that. Hopefully it all goes the way you want. I'm sure it will. So we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.